Well, the idea was maybe to present, let's say, the synergies which are a bit unexpected between the space domain and the health domain. Because a lot of people expect that we only do satellites and we care about astronauts. Actually, we do a lot of telemedicine that we applied for every citizen in Europe and even in the world. So the idea was maybe to show the synergies between these two worlds that apparently are disconnected. So the presentation tonight will present a bit, let's say, the global context of telemedicine at ESA, which is a niche activity, but still we had a lot of experience, and I think we drew a lot of lessons from the different activities we had. We had more than 160 projects in the field of health, half of them being in the field of telemedicine. So I'll try to present a bit the perspective of the astronauts and the perspective of the European citizens, I would say. And this I will illustrate also through two examples that are very successful in the UK. We had two projects, one in the field of breast screening cancer. We're supporting breast screening campaigns with satellites to transfer medical images from one point to another. And the other one was the development of what we call dual-use physiological monitoring unit. So a tool that can be used as a conventional monitoring system for emergency care, for instance, but to which a telemedicine capability has been added. And therefore, you can address, let's say, a wider market for the manufacturer, and you can offer new services in terms of telemedicine. So that's two very successful projects that we have sponsored because we are, let's say, an entity that enables new project, innovative solutions to be developed. Of course, they are solutions that are supposed to involve, let's say, space assets. And by space assets, we mean things like telecommunication via satellite, technologies that were initially developed for astronauts but can be used on Earth, and the like. So that's a bit the idea that I want to propagate, and also the lessons learned, what we have been learning from all these projects, was the experience, and maybe also propose some opportunities to the different participants of this conference to maybe work with us. Well, I think the sexy part is really the one that is addressing the astronaut case, because it's often requiring some technologies that were not thought by let's say, the terrestrial medical companies, while because most of the time it's addressing a niche market, and people don't bother to go there. We develop some kind of new innovative products because they are not addressed by let's say, the conventional terrestrial market. This example of what we call robotized teleechography is a probe holder, a robotic system that is handling ultrasound probe, and that can be remotely manipulated by a medical expert. Why? Is because among the crews there is not systematically a medical doctor. And the idea is that in case of a problem or to perform a given scientific experiment, for instance, to explore the cardiac functions, this will require a lot of time from the astronauts, and astronaut time is very expensive. So the idea was really to develop a system where the knowledge on how to perform an ultrasound examination would be on the ground. And this is something that has application on Earth for isolated places in mountains or in mobile environments such as boats, or aircraft even, and this was not developed by let's say the conventional ultrasound makers, because for them it's really a small market, and they have no interest. So this is maybe the innovation part and what is sexy in the work we do. But most of our work is trying to use existing technologies, things that have been developed and proved on the ground, but then are combined with other existing things and put together with the space, let's say, umbrella, and used with satellite communications or the other aspects that I mentioned before. And this, let's say, this combination of the different assets is what is also innovative. So it's maybe not sexy in terms of technology and tool, but the concept and the service aspects are the things that are innovative and that we hope are interesting for developing a business. I think in terms of what we do, is not only the technology and the service, is also, let's say, the ideas that we try, and that's maybe where also ESA has a role to push for these kind of ideas. Usually, telemedicine by satellite was not so much used. Why? Because of the cost of these tools of communication. And through a number of projects, we have demonstrated that aggregating the demands and aggregating the needs and the users was something that helped developing the implementation of telemedicine solutions. As an example, we have been working with 4 ministries of defense that are having shortages in terms of medical expertise when they do peacekeeping missions. They have very little expertise in the homeland, and if they cannot afford sending these people abroad to support the troops. So what they do, they send people that have like a basic training, and they are on support remotely via tools such as video conference, but also additional features on how to collaborate on medical images. So these are existing technologies, existing concepts. But then the fact of bringing different ministries of defense together, which had never been done, aggregating the demands because some have similar problems, and the idea is really that French surgeons could maybe work and advise a medical doctor that is Spanish or German and located in a different location. So the idea is like really grouping these needs and grouping the demand is something that could help the adoption of the telecommunication systems for telemedicine. So that's more the idea that is innovative rather than the technology itself. We work with the pharmaceutical companies, with telecommunication providers, SES in Luxembourg, Astra, British Telecom, a lot of actors, universities, hospitals, medical professionals, and this is, let's say, completing the whole picture of telemedicine. So we are enabler. We are an enabling agency because we support these kind of initiatives. We are not trying to compete on any kind of market. Our aim is really to facilitate the implementation and the adoption of telemedicine in Europe. So yeah, we are very happy to work with anybody that has the need to implement a solution where space can play a role.